Hey there, and welcome to the Audacious Agency Hot Seat, where we share entrepreneurial stories to inspire and motivate you to rocket launch your brand. I'm your host, Lauren Clement, the brand navigator. Welcome to the Hot Seat. Today in the hot seat, we have the most amazing entrepreneur, the lovely Liliana, who is with us today. Liliana, it's awesome to have you with us. Now, Liliana has her own business. It's called Sleep My Baby. And I can't wait to find out more about her business, but about her journey as well. So I wonder, Liliana, if you can give us a bit of an introduction. Where do you come from? What's your background been? And how have you gotten into business?
Yeah, well, I come from Mexico. I'm born there, and I emigrated to Australia 17 years ago, approximately. Now it's a long time, I can hardly remember. Well, I just started working here, living here, and when I became a mother, I started finding out that I was a lot of trouble with the sleeping. And also I was working in an office, and I found that the problem that was bringing to my life and the lack of sleep was huge. Also, I see another people that were becoming parents around myself, and I saw the lack of help for people that I were in situations like us, like the lack of sleep. There was no much support around. I was pretty desperate, and I just had my colleague that was actually sitting next to me. And every day we arrive to the office, and our first conversation will be starting to ask each other, how did we sleep last night? Because we had young children about the same age, and every day was the same. We eventually got a split, like we didn't sit together anymore, so we couldn't rely into each other. But I decided to change that path because it was very tiring and very sad as well, because arriving or starting your day absolutely tired is no way of living. So I decided to make the change and change my life first, and then I got fascinated on how you can change the sleep patterns of a child if you concentrate and you dedicate to do that little bit of work, and also you educate yourself of what is happening. I did it that way. I changed my life, and then I decided to change other people's life that were working as well. So I thought this is something people need. And of course, a lot of people laugh of you, when you are going to say, well, I'm going to be a sleep consultant for children. And then people laugh because they don't understand. If you're not a parent, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you are a parent and you have experienced a night without sleep, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's how I got into it.
Yeah, absolutely. A form of torture, isn't it? Sleep deprivation. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
I can imagine, Liliana, as well, given that you were in a country that you had immigrated to, you also probably didn't have as many support people about you as well.
Yeah, that's correct. I don't have any relatives here, direct relatives, I said, from my side. And when I have my partner's family around, they always busy. Like the life in Australia is very different compared to the country I come from. Sorry, they always, it's a support network. You always have your mother or the auntie or the friend, and it's just the communities are more connected in family wise, because the economy works differently as well. But here in Australia, everybody works. Doesn't matter if it's your mother-in-law, she will be working as well as you. So it's very difficult to find that network. Of course, there is families that are all here and they have it, but the traditional people that were born here. But most of the people I know are immigrants as well, like me, and with no relatives around. It's pretty hard.
Yeah, absolutely. So well done. What an amazing, not only being a great mum and bringing up children, but also starting your own business. And isn't it interesting that sometimes the best businesses come from your own personal experience, that you find that there's a lack or a problem or an area where there's a gap in the market to provide a product or a service. And that's basically exactly what you've done. So tell us, Liliana, a little bit about some of the challenges that you have experienced in starting up a business, almost having another baby.
Yeah, well, That was it. Well, I wanted to be a mother of more than one child, but after going through that, sleep deprivation was a no-go zone. But deep in my mind, I always wanted more children. So that was the first thing. The first thing was help myself and overcome that big problem that I had. And I thought, if I get education on sleep, even though I don't make a business or I don't go any further, it will be good for me because I want to apply it to more children that I want to have in the future. I was not pregnant or anything at the time I was developing this idea. So that was the first thing. Then the second thing was, well, I was pregnant. When I was doing my certification, I found that I was pregnant. So I thought, perfect. I got the perfect client coming or on the way. I will challenge this knowledge with myself and my child, but I also want to help others. I need to help others because it is terrible. And what I experience, I don't want anyone else to experience anymore. You don't have fresh memories of your child because I was so sleep deprived. So that's what happens. And it's not fair. It's not fair for the mothers. It's not fair for the father as well, or for the child. So, and that's why I decided to do it. And yeah, there I embrace all the challenges. It was amazing. Another thing that was a big challenge was the language. When you want to put a website, when you want to communicate to the audience that they don't speak the same language, it takes a long time to be able to put yourself in front of them, explain. You get a lot of criticism because perhaps your ideas are coming across but not quite perfect. But I have learned how to brush all that off me. I communicate, I do videos, and I educate myself. I look at people like yourself, listen to podcasts, and try to educate myself as much as possible to be a good communicator on the things I want to tell to people.
Yeah, brilliant. There's some really lovely messages in what you're saying, Liliana. I love it. It's never ever going to be perfect, is it? There's always going to be something that's not quite right. So just brush that off and keep going. That's a really great way to look at things. So what are some of the things that you have helped to give yourself that confidence to do that, to be able to say, look, it's not perfect, but it's okay? And how do you treat those sorts of things?
Well, I tried to find a network. One of the things that I learned in my certification was that I always have a network of people that can help you, like can educate you in different areas of the business side and also in what you're doing. So if you always stay connected, if you always learn from different people, you're always going to make yourself better. So that's how I've been coming on board. Like I have use a lot of the government programs that they have for entrepreneurs and also for small businesses. So I go to talks, to seminars. I think that's how I met you as well, through a seminar that came from the government. So it's very affordable, it's easy, and I find it is amazing as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And building networks is so important when you start out in business, isn't it? And it's like an extended family after a while, isn't it? That you get to know all sorts of different people. So have you got any advice for people around how to grow a network, where to go and what to do, and what sort of things to look for if you're wanting to build your network in business?
Yes, the first thing is just look what your government or your community around you have to offer. Don't just look and be afraid to go to any networking event, because sometimes you don't know anyone. Sometimes you feel like, why should you go to this place when you haven't met anyone? People usually feel more confident if a friend comes with, or if someone else invited me to this seminar, I will be much better. But I just feel like if you put yourself out there and you just be brave, go, even though perhaps it's not your sort of area, you will learn something about it. At least you will meet someone. Someone will talk to you and say hi or good morning, because you will be sitting next to that person, and you never know what good relationship you can build out of there. I just find I like it, and it's something very different. Like, I know not many people are brave to do it, and that's what has helped me to grow my business and just pass my word out there. And I really enjoy it, to be honest. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. I know when I moved to Australia from New Zealand, I think I knew 5 people in Australia, not all in the same state. They were living all over the place, and now I would know thousands. So
Yes.
it's a great tip to get out there and find those networks. And even with COVID, finding online networking, Facebook groups and things like that, there's some amazing people out there. And as you say, Liliana, it's more a case of just having a chat to somebody, isn't it? And knowing that you're not alone. You're in there, not on your own little boat. You've got other people around you. So I know the other challenges in business and the things you've mentioned to us as well are things like, okay, great, I'm starting in business. I recognize there's a need. There's a problem with sleep deprivation. I think I've got a solution. Great, that's fantastic. And I love the fact that you had your own first client, which is absolutely brilliant. So what about your approach to marketing and promoting and getting that message out there? How did you start doing that with your business?
Yeah, well, I think as a very naive person in business, I thought everything will work from the beginning. And honestly, I think I have spent a lot of money in things that I didn't know how to do it. Now I'm a little bit more careful. Like the first thing was obviously Facebook advertising. I tried to go that way. Obviously, it didn't work for me. I spent a lot of money. People were trying to hook you into learn, but you had to spend a certain amount of time and money. And to be honest, it wasn't affordable time-wise and money-wise. So that was one thing. I know for a lot of people work, but for me didn't, because obviously my budget was limited. So that is kind of one of the conditions. If you spend a lot, you will get a lot, but obviously it wasn't working for me. That was one of my first biggest mistakes. Then another one was to trust my website to someone. I found obviously accessible and economic way to make my website, and I rely on someone else. I tried that and didn't work because I never knew where the web-based manager, I guess, was based. It was just all made over the phone and things like that, and didn't work. I found that if I write myself my SEO, if I do everything myself, it's going to work better because I know my business and I know when I can do it. I know when I need to put it, need to update the information. And this is something that needs maintenance every day. Like it's not something that you sit and you need to call. And I know a lot of people do it that way, but I find that me being in control of that, I get more out of it. And marketing, well, I pretty much have tried everything that I can. But I find that, to be honest, when I met you guys in that seminar, the best thing that I got for me is the public relationships. I never, to be honest, I didn't consider it, but I thought, and I have discovered that is the most effective way to pass your voice, because you don't get into one circle. It just goes everywhere, and that is so much better.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely. And it is interesting, isn't it? You can waste a huge amount of time and money in business. But I love the fact that you've made that point. Whatever you can do yourself, you should be doing yourself, because you love your business and you're passionate about your business far more than anybody else will ever be. And what I love about what you said, Liliana, is, even if you do it to the point where you've learned how to do it, so that then when you want to get somebody else to do it for you, you can say, this is what you do. This is how I want you to do it. And you know that it can be done because you've been doing it yourself. So it's a great way. One of the things I talk about a lot of the time is learn enough about something that you can explain what you want someone else to do for you. So learn enough about SEO and websites and social media and content and publicity and networking, so that you can explain and delegate and give somebody else that task should you wish to, as your business grows. Great point. Now, if you are just tuning in, we are here in the Audacious Hot Seat with the fabulous Liliana Amaro from Sleep My Baby. And remember, we have lots of special guests on the show, and you can find more episodes like this at the Audacious Agency's YouTube channel, or where you get your favorite podcasts. Now, Liliana, what was the thing that the Audacious Agency helped you most with?
Well, I think everything. To be honest, it just gave me clarity. I remember going that day and there was another sleep consultant, and and I just turned up there and I was sitting and I just thought, this is something I wouldn't think on my own, like, you know, sitting on my lounge trying to find the best way of marketing. I would never thought that the public relationships or going in the media or talking in the radio, it will be the most successful way, because it's your voice passing through other voices, and it just, you get seen everywhere. So that was for me the tipping point. Of course, I've been struggling. Like I try to do everything myself, because this is like my side business. I have another profession that I do, but this is my business that I do for passion and for love as well. So yeah, when I realized what I can do with the public relationships, and you guys have teach me a lot, like you know, so much.
What is interesting, isn't it? I know Annette and I joke a lot about how our brains are quite different. Publicity brains and branding brains, we see the world quite differently. And you're right, sometimes it does take some of the things you've talked about, networking, getting out of your comfort zone, going and meeting with people, you know, attending seminars and workshops, and just opening your brain for a little bit to see what else is out there. So is there anything that you do quite differently now that you understand about building those relationships with the media and so on? What else do you do that's different now?
Oh, okay. The first thing is I always receive your newsletter, and I go carefully through it, and I see where is the need for someone like me going and talk and speak or send an article. And honestly, I have been trying for the last 2 years, trying, you know, sometimes you don't hear, sometimes you think it's a waste of time. But suddenly, maybe from 6 months back to now, I have one person that has published my articles, and it keeps asking for articles. So it takes a long time, to be honest. But if you persist, I think you conquer. I got an interview in the TV channel, and also at the same time I work internationally. So I have a public relationships agency in Mexico, and they have gone ballistic. Obviously, it is different there, but I've been in newspapers all around Mexico City, in channels, in Facebook, in radio, in podcast. So it's a new world that I never thought I was going to discover, to be honest. But it is fantastic. It's exactly what you do here in Australia, but they do it over there. And I thought, well, I will work with both, because that's the best. And to be honest, it's the best investment for me that I have.
Brilliant. Fantastic. That was so good. Well done on all the results. And I love what you said, that it, you know, it takes time. There's no such thing as a magic wand
No.
and all of a sudden you're famous. It does take time. But I think the words that Annette uses all the time is, you know, resistance, which is resistant to that little itty bitty shitty committee telling you you're not good at this and it'll never work. But resistance against, you know, people telling you can't do it. Persistency, which is exactly what you've done, you know, responding to those weekly rocket call outs and making sure that you're available and submitting really good content for people as a guest blogger. Amazing ways to get yourself Googleicious. And then consistency. And you seem to be someone who just keeps consistently telling that story, and your passion about, you know, sleep deprivation and how it's no good for anyone, let alone, you know, yourself or your child or your family. It's such a great message. So if you could take yourself back, Liliana, to where you first started in business, knowing what you know now, what's some advice that you would give yourself?
Myself is, before you invest in any type of marketing, research what is the reach that can give you, how long it's going to take, and assess that if you can really go that way at the time you want to go that way. Because perhaps you want to, let's say, be famous and invest in a public relationships, but you can just afford 1 month. That is not going to get you anywhere. You just need to invest for a long time. And I see, like every marketing person tells you, it takes more than 6 months, and you don't want to believe it, because you don't want to invest, I will call it that way, that much time or money, but that is the reality. There is no other way, and it's a hard lesson, I guess, as well. But it's good. It's good, because when you come out of in the other side good, and you have all these things that you have achieved over the years, it is nice. It feels nice.
So do you do that? Do you look back on what you've achieved? Because I know a lot of women don't. A lot of us are very focused on, right, what have I got to do today? What am I doing tomorrow? Do you take time to reflect on your achievements?
Yes, I guess it's like everything. I have ups and downs. When there are quiet times for the business, it's sort of time to reflect. What have I done? What I'm doing wrong? What I'm not doing? And obviously, the more love and more time you put into your business, the more everything flourish. That is no change or anything different to that. Like that is the recipe. If you want to work. If you want clients, you need to work to get them. They're not going to come unless you have worked for the last 20, 30 years and you already have a big portfolio. But when you are an entrepreneur and you just need to start climbing, and then don't let them go. Just hold them with you, connect with them, and then that is what is going to help you.
Brilliant. Now, if somebody is listening to this interview and they want to find out more about you, where should they go?
Oh, they can go pretty much anywhere they would like it. Like they can go to Instagram, look for my name, Liliana Amaro, or Sleep My Baby, which starts spelling with double set. Facebook, Instagram, website, Google. I got a Google channel, YouTube channel, in where you can find videos in 2 languages. I have the plan for a podcast, but I don't have time right now. So I'm going to.
Baby on the way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Another baby, a podcast.
Yes. And email, WhatsApp, any way of communication, pretty much I'm reachable.
Absolutely brilliant. So if you know someone, if you're listening to this and you know someone who's really struggling with sleep deprivation and they need Liliana's help with Sleep My Baby, that's ZZLEEP My Baby, go and check her out. Find her online. She has some amazing resources for you. My last quick question for you, Liliana, is if you could give advice to somebody, maybe another mum who's out there thinking about starting a business, maybe she's found, like you, there's a gap in the market, there's something that she found that she needed and it doesn't exist. And she's thinking, should I get into business for myself? Should I do this? Should I jump in that entrepreneurial crazy whirlwind? What's the advice you might give to them?
Well, I always trying to encourage people to go and make their own businesses. Like, to be honest, I'm very a pushy person on that. So you should make a business out of this. Like I think I have the clarity to see how good someone can do, but unfortunately not everybody does. But I always said, if you need help, we can always talk about it. I can help you, like pretty much think about everybody else, what they can do to have their own business. So don't be afraid, don't be scared, just try. Like if you don't try, you never know how good you can be doing business.
Oh, that's fantastic. If you never try, you'll never know how good you can be. That's so fantastic. Thank you, Liliana. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today about your journey as an entrepreneur. Congratulations on that consistency and just keeping on doing what you're doing and never giving up. And for being here on the show, on the hot seat with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much, Lauren, and looking forward to see you again.
Brilliant. Thanks so much to our audacious guest sitting in the hot seat today, and to everyone for listening. Remember, be bold, be brave, be audacious. For more, subscribe to the podcast or YouTube channel, or join us in the Rocket Launch Your Business Facebook group. The links are in the description below.